Welcome everybody to the Boomerang podcast. I'm Stefan Đorđević and I'm excited to be joined by NCAA Division I athlete. He's 6'7". He's the guy sitting right next to me, Boško Kostur. How are you, man?
Bro, it's good to see you again.
It's good to see you again as well.
It's
been
been
a
a
while,
while, so I appreciate you getting me on again,
Nah, not
man.
a problem.
It's good to have another chat. So, thank you for having me. So.
Not a problem. We had you on the radio before. How'd you like that experience?
I loved it. Yeah, it was good. We had the little group last time. Now it's just us two. So open book, man. Whatever you want to discuss, we can discuss. But I really enjoyed our last interview, and I know we've been discussing to get back on. So here we are, man.
I'm excited, man. But look, honestly, how's life been though? I haven't seen you since God knows how long.
Life has been good, man. I can't complain. I'm doing what I love. Basketball, strength and conditioning, scouting, things like that, man. So really involved in the basketball community and the basketball world here in Australia. Family, partner, everything's flowing how we should be. So I'm very blessed.
Shout out to your beautiful partner, Adriana, if she's watching. I don't know. Yeah. Shout out to her.
No, absolutely.
But look, you're on the program HQ, man. I was doing some research on you because I haven't been in touch with you. I know you're not on social media. You're a pretty low-key guy, which I respect. It's very hard nowadays in our society not to be on social media. But you're on the program HQ. Tell the ladies and gentlemen out there, what's the program HQ?
Yeah, so the program HQ is something I decided to start. It first started mainly for basketball athletes doing, so there's 3 services to the program, right? It's called just the program. And it's pretty much something where we invent just lethal athletes, lethal basketball players.
Like yourself.
Right? Yeah. Some might say, But there's 3 services to the program that we offer there. And the first service is individual coaching on floor with them, going through player development, skill stuff, whatever that individual needs to work on the court, right? The second service is a strength and conditioning phase that we design for them, including nutritional advice that we believe would best benefit them in that sport, right? And the third service I offer is a scouting service. So teams, NBA 1 teams, Big V teams might be reaching out to me, be like, hey, listen, can you do my scouts for the season? And then, I have access to various programs that I can build these scouts for them. And those are the 3 services we offer at the program. So it is a one-stop shop that we try to do there. So here we are, man, and it's going well. Been really loving it, and I'm really happy and thankful that we took that leap now. So
who's the team? I need to know all the little behind the scenes stuff. What's going on? Who's running it? Is it just you? When did it start up? I need to know all these things.
Yeah. So it's
is Adriana helping you out as well?
She was she's been a great supporter of mine. So definitely shout out to her. She's been through all the highs and lows with me. So I'm really thankful for a great partner. But it's just me, man. I do all of it. Right now, I just can't disclose what teams I do because there is that factor, kind of confidentiality factor behind it. But yeah, individual players from NBL 1 teams to NBL players to players that are playing in Europe to, training 8, 10-year-old kids to try help them get to where they want to be, if essentially one day. So it's the age groups vary, the services vary for whoever needs what at that current time. So.
Obviously, you were a player, Division I athlete. How have you found the transition going from player to coach now? Obviously, through the program HQ that you're running. What have you found that's been the biggest challenge? What are some things that helps you for any other fellow coaches that are out there watching and listening? What have you found, and if you can give some tips as well?
Yeah, I think I try to be everything I didn't have, and I think the main aspect was, that I was missing was really having a great relationship with, coaches. And I think relationships are the most important aspect to be able to bring out the best out of that player. So I really try to learn about my athletes, like about their personal lives, about what makes them tick, about what they love, about what they dislike, about things that they are struggling in, not just on the basketball court, but in life, right? And at the program, it's okay to express those vulnerabilities, because that kind of grows that relationship. And then once that relationship grows, I'm able to use that and bring out the best in that player. So I think from a coach's perspective, from a player to a coach, I think the biggest challenge for me as a coach is just creating these relationships and just growing these relationships. And I think that is the most important aspect of establishing a successful, venture for that individual. So.
Yeah. No, I can definitely relate to that as well. Obviously, for those who don't know, I used to play basketball under your guidance and leadership, which is weird for a tennis player to be coming and shifting over and playing.
Yeah.
What were some challenges for, let's say, we'll put 2 and 2 together. We'll go someone who played basketball under your guidance and someone who comes from a tennis background like me. What could you sense, like challenges-wise, strengths-wise, what could you, if you could like pinpoint between the two?
Like you specifically?
Me specifically, or anyone else, what would you, because I don't think you've ever taught a tennis player playing basketball before.
Let's start with, let's say your weaknesses when it comes to,
There are a lot.
the basketball aspect, all right? Essentially, when it comes to the game of basketball, you were never the most physically gifted, not the most talented kid on the floor, right? When it comes to shoot, dribble, pass, and that aspect of the game, right? Those are things that you kept working on, and you progressed in that the further we went along on that journey together. But I'll tell you one thing, that you were probably one of the best, honestly, in my opinion, to coach, right? Was just the passion, your heart, and the leadership you had on the floor, right? So there were games that you didn't see any court time, or close to none, or very minimal, right? But you didn't let that affect you. You were always a team first guy, right? You put the team in front of yourself, and that is probably one of the biggest assets a player can give the game, right? So one, I want to thank you for being that type of player, right? And being that type of person. It takes a really big man and a great person to put, your own ambitions aside and put that team first, right? So I would say, man, from the players that I've coached, you were one of the best at that.
I'll take that. I
All right,
appreciate
there you
that,
go.
man.
We're not doing this just for the cameras now.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Well, it leads me on to my other thing, which I think for a lot of the youth that's watching this especially, and I think, they struggle with, and I sense on the team as well, was a bit of like leadership as well. And I think it shifts swiftly over to what I want to talk about with you, which is leadership. What are some qualities that you look at that makes a good leader? What are, some key things that you look at in some of your clients now that, you're coaching and guiding in your program as well, that you're doing the program HQ? What are some things that you look at, some qualities that makes a good leader?
Yeah. Absolutely. So there's 3 key aspects when I'm looking at an individual when it comes to, hey, do they possess the qualities of a leader for me as a captain or whatever you might call it, right? The 3 qualities, the first one starts with having self-awareness and coachability, right? So understanding what your specific strengths and weaknesses are, being able to consume feedback from the coach, and then working on those weaknesses. So coachability and self-awareness is the first thing you have to have as a leader. Okay, what am I good at? What am I, not so good at? Things that I need to work on, and what can I provide, right? Yep. The second one is communication, right? There's no leader in the history of this world, right, that has been a good leader, but a poor communicator, right? So as a communicator, we need to be able to communicate in the sense of understanding one another, motivating one another, keeping one another accountability, which brings me to that third aspect, is having accountability, heart and passion, right? So exactly what you did, putting your own ambitions aside for the greater good of the team, right? So those are the 3 qualities that I look for when I'm trying to find that leader. But the way I, establish and learn if that player has that is just having a conversation like we are, learning about their life, learning about their family. How do they interact with their friends and loved ones, right? So, yeah, those are the three aspects that I look for in establishing a leader for my team, should I say.
When you were playing, back in all the teams that you've played, what would you rank yourself based on leadership-wise? Were you right up there? Were you one of the leaders on the team? I would always try and relate this back to basketball because obviously, there's a lot of basketball fans that'll be watching.
Yeah.
Where would you kind of rank yourself? And if you have had any experiences that have shaped you to become a better leader, what were they?
Yeah. When it comes to my own playing career, a lot of my career, I had a lot of maturing to do, right? Even in college, right? I was one of those players that were great at taking orders, but I still haven't yet established the communication piece in the sense of, hey, how can I motivate the guy next to me and the guy next to him and the guy next to him, right? So I think over time, and it's still an aspect that I'm working on, that communication piece. And I got better at that when I've stepped into that coaching role now. But as a player, I did let my own ambitions sometimes interrupt the greater good of the team. So I definitely had a lot of maturing, and I'll be the first to admit that, and I'll take accountability for that. But now, learning from my mistakes, stepping into this coaching role, that's something that I'm definitely establishing, that communication piece now. Putting the team ambition in front of my own personal goals.
How was when you were playing Division 1 basketball? How did you go about yourself off the court? We all know I've seen you play on the court. I've watched some of your tape, naturally, of course, Bulldog this guy was. How did you go about yourself off the court? Like, when people would see you in around the campus, how did you go about yourself off the court? And was your mind always thinking about basketball?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to just living, should I say, a Division 1 athlete life, you are kind of the rock stars on campus, right?
Is that right?
But so I'm not sure if you've ever seen the movie Friday Night Lights, right? So it's this high school football team, small high school football team in Texas, where the whole town shuts down, every time they have a game, and it packs out, right? Yeah. So where I went to school in Rhode Island, Bryan University, I lived in a small town, Smithville, Rhode Island, but there was nothing else to do other than go to these basketball games. So everybody in that town would know you, and even the outskirts of that. So we would sell out most games and whatnot, and then you kind of are these celebrities on campus, right? And you just you must hold those values, those God-you values that, I was brought up in my family. So treat people how you want to be treated. So I didn't look at myself of any kind of celebrity. I would say hi to people. I'd like to, we're both human beings, I tie my shoes off just like you do. So there wasn't like, hey, you must bow down to me, anything like that. I was more than happy to have a conversation, talk to, kids, ran Special Olympics events, things like that. So, my presence on campus, I was definitely trying to, give back and just learn about everybody, meet people, create these relationships. So there was another aspect to that question. What was it?
Yeah. Were you always thinking about basketball?
Was I always thinking about basketball?
Yeah, even when you weren't off the court. Because I know me, when I'm playing tennis and pickleball, I can't, for me to perform well, I can't always be thinking about tennis and pickleball. Yeah. I'm a weird player, which I've realized is I've actually not got to care in order to perform well.
Yeah.
I know it's a bit of reverse psychology, but I don't know, maybe you were the different type of player where you always had to be locked in.
I was always locked in, but was I thinking about basketball 24/7? Of course not. I believe the greatest athletes had balance. Yes, there was an obsession to work hard, and I put in time on the court. But when I was off the court, I definitely like to relax, just chat with mates, hang out, this and that, just get my mind off it. Yeah. But when I'm on the court, we're going full throttle, like no matter if that be for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, right? And we put in work on the court. Every single one of us did on the team. But there is a point where you actually have to let your brain relax and just breathe for a second. So yeah, definitely that aspect as well.
If you could, and I love asking this question, by the way, this next one, but for the people around you that could describe you both on and off the court, how would they describe you as? As a human being as well, and also as a basketball player and possible coach as well.
I think, if you needed to use one word to describe me as the type of player I was and the coach I am, is definitely 1, calculated, and 2, passionate. I had this fire in me, this burn in me as a player, and I believe I still hold that as a coach, that I didn't take no for an answer. There was no, it's not over till I win kind of thing, and that was my mindset, and that's what people know me for, I believe, on the court and off the court. So everything I do, I'm competitive. I've never played pickleball in my life. I'm going to play tomorrow with the missus, and I'm not taking any prisoners. You get what I'm saying?
I know.
So yeah, definitely, if I could describe myself as a player and as a coach, definitely passionate and calculated in what I do.
How about off the court as a human being? How would your girlfriend describe you off the court? Because she sees a different side of you that I and your parents probably don't get to see. How would she describe you as? Because she's the one who spends the most time with you.
Yeah. I think if you were to ask her how she'll describe me as a very caring and sensitive human being. She would also say that I'm passionate and polite. Like I love treating people how I want to be treated, and I just want to give that back. So if you were to ask her, hey, out of all those things that I just mentioned, definitely the sensitivity side of things. Like I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I want to help as many people as I can, from kids to adults to everybody, man. So yeah, I mean, go ask her. Maybe she'll get on the next show, So.
I can definitely relate to that though, for sure. I want to run some stats by you. And I want to get your feeling of what it feels. You're a 2013 Defensive Player of the Year on the Defensive Player of the Year team. 2012 MVP, 2012 All-Star Player, 2010 School Nationals MVP. You were selected for Victorian School State Team and Australian School National Team. How does that all feel when looking back on your career? How does that all sink in?
It feels like it was a lifetime ago. Yeah, honestly, like I haven't really taken the time to really reflect back yet, on all of that stuff.
Why is that?
I guess I don't feel like I'm, and you know this, I'm always somebody that likes to think of the next play.
I agree.
And I don't know how many times you've heard me say that, right? Because it's all about the next play. Yeah, I would hate for somebody coming up to miss an opportunity thinking about the past or dwelling on the past. Either that be a good thing or a positive thing that has happened. You always got to think about, hey, what's the next thing? Because in the end, the most important thing you're doing in your life is the thing you're doing right now, right? But, let's go and discuss these points.
I need to know more about these, man. Because I didn't know these things about you until I looked at your LinkedIn account. I did.
But yeah, these points, I can't say I love the game and I put a lot of effort into the game. I had a coach that was really invested in my growth on and off the court. So shout out to Coach Luke Sunderland, who is now currently coaching NBL 1 in Perth. He saw something in me that I didn't see at the time. And every day, we just chipped away at it. There was no social media back in the day. In the off seasons, we'll work, and who came back and worked in the off season, So I got to give a lot of thanks to him for believing in me, even at times that sometimes I didn't believe in myself and I just didn't see it, But yeah, we worked at it, and I never looked at awards. Those awards, how do I say it? It's not that it didn't mean anything to me, but like I just wanted my family to be proud of me, my coach to be proud of me, and that was more fulfilling to me than any of those awards could ever offer me. So
I'm just reflecting back. I can hear now, being in the huddle with you. Next play, boys. Next play. Next smacking the clipboard as well. But it's true though, and that's something that I've taken into my life as well now. Playing pickleball, tennis, no matter what I'm doing, I'm always thinking the next step, the next goal, because you can't be, as you said, too fixated on the past because you can't change that. It's always on the future and what's coming next. But you played at Bryant University. Did you get, and I've always wanted to say, did you get any other offers from any other colleges? I think we might have already spoken about this in a prior conversation that we had, but I know you chose Bryant because there's 3 other Australians playing at the team. Did you get any other college offers? And apart from those 3 being there, what appealed you so much to Bryant University in Rhode Island?
Yeah, I was, so my recruitment process really kind of shot up for me when I was with the junior national team and whatnot, and having something like that on your resume really makes you stand out in certain areas, right? But yeah, when it comes to specific offers, I had Bryant. I took a visit to Bryant, UNC, Charlotte, and I was in discussions with Vanderbilt at the time. But yeah, Bryant was, I knew a school that I could go to, and I had the opportunity to start straight away, which is a very hard thing to do in Division I basketball, to go to a 4-year school, coming fresh out of high school, to start and play heavy minutes. But I knew at Bryant that I would have the opportunity to do that. And yeah, being one of 4 Australians there, the adjustment process was easy. Having somebody to talk to, having somebody understand where you're from, all played a role for me, right? So, I put all those pieces of the puzzles together, and it was a no-brainer to go with Bryant. So,
I bet you loved it there though. Did you like the college life there?
Yeah, I love the college life, but what do you mean by the college life?
It's just the college life compared to the Australian life that we've got here, because obviously college, you're on campus 24/7 and you're living there. Did you enjoy the college life constantly, or would have you liked to go home and retreat and not be around school?
Listen, I loved it all, right? When we're talking about the college life, it's like you're young, you're in university, you're hanging out with people your age. It's a positive environment, positive atmosphere. You're playing basketball, you're doing what you love every day, for the next 4 to 5 years. So if you're asking me, hey, did I love the college life? I loved it for those things, And I met some great people. I met a Serbian professor over there that's the head of marketing at Bryant University, Srđan Zdravković. So shout out to Srđan Zdravković. He's honestly was a great mentor for me, and we became family. So he's like a father figure to me, and I will never forget him. We still stay in touch and talk to each other, and he still works at Bryant. He's still teaching over there, but yeah, I really loved my time over there. Yeah.
I want to shift, because this is the topic that I love talking about you, or talking with you the most actually, is the mental side of things, mentality. What was your mentality like going into not just all the big games, but just in any game, in training and stuff? What was your mentality going to all of this? Did you have 2 different modes to yourself?
It's interesting for me. The calmer I was in here, it was amazing how everything slowed down for me. If I got too worked up in my head, right, thinking about like this and getting my adrenaline really like, hey, like, I got to do this, got to win. Like, the game's so fast in my head right now, and I'm not thinking about what I should be thinking about. But the calmer I am mentally, it just slowed everything down for me, right? And I was able to make better decisions, quicker decisions in my mind. And, along my career, compared to my first year, going down to my 4th and 5th year at Bryant, you don't let little things affect you anymore, and you can't, you know, it's such a fast-paced environment. It's such a fast-paced game. Like I always say, next play. You know, you can't let what just happened dictate what's going to happen. You know, what your next move is going to be. So, yeah, I always say, yes, have passion and fire. You have to be able to harness that, of course, and control it. But you have to stay relaxed. You have to stay calm in the mind. You know.
How do you do that because a lot of people wouldn't know how to do that. How do you, just not overall in basketball, but being able to stay cool and calm just in life as a general, how do you approach doing that?
Staying cool and calm. In a sense, for me, it was this, you know, having a conversation with somebody, having a few laughs before the game, you know, was my way of just, I'm relaxed, I'm good, you know, like it's not the end of the world, you know, is what I'm trying to say. Win or lose, it's not the end of the world. Of course, you play, you work hard, and you want to do everything you can to win and play well. But for me to stay relaxed, it's just about having a positive environment around me, and you put yourself in that environment. You create that environment, right? So if you know, potentially somebody that's very negative or, you know, talks badly or maybe isn't such a great influence on and doesn't hold high character and good values, you don't want to be around that. So surround yourself with people that hold good values, have that, you know, great class and character, which creates that positive environment, which you can have great conversations with, essentially, which will keep you relaxed, you know. So it helped me. So yeah, to answer your question, it's I think everybody's different in that sense, but that was mine, you know.
I like that.
I didn't listen to any type of rap music before the game. It was all just kind of happy, vibrant, calm. I love country music, so that was my thing before the game. You know what I mean?
I did not know that about you.
Yeah,
you like country music?
I love country music.
Well, I'm only finding out about this now.
Yeah,
Man.
so that's what I would listen to before the game because it was happy. It would promote happiness out of me. And the more happy I am, the calm I am, and the calm I am, the clearer I can think. The clearer I can think, the more the game slows down for me. The more the game slows down for me, the better decisions I can make. The more better decisions I can make, the better the outcome. So
okay, I like that because you always hear different things. Like I only just found out, I think a couple of weeks ago, is that one of my mates actually listens to depressing music before he plays to actually fully calm him down and is just his heartbeat.
Interesting. I mean, if that works for him, that works for him, you know. Not everybody is the same, you know. So that's what I mean about relationships, right? So learning about one another and what makes that person tick, right? And how to bring the best out of that person. So, yeah.
I like that. I like that for sure. I think relationships is a big one, especially because the better relationship you have, the better you know about the individual. How did you, and I can take this one a lot because this is one that I really want to ask you, because whenever you're having, say, for me, at least in my case, if you're having a bad session out on the court, or if anyone is having a bad day in general, you can relate it back to life. How did you, and what helped you try and refocus to being in the present, to not try and ruin the rest of the session or the rest of the day?
I think you can't dwell on what's happened, you know? Right? Because if you can constantly and continuously dwell on the past, right, we won't be able to be in the present.
As you say, the next
right?
play.
And if you're constantly stuck in the future, like, fuck, what's going to happen in the next hour, 2 year, or whatnot, you'll constantly be consumed by anxiety. So being able to stay in the present as much as possible, not dwelling on the past, and not being too far in the future is what I did. You know, I missed that shot, there's always another shot. You get what I'm saying? And if I had a bad practice, it's not the end of the world, right? I get to go home, I get to see my mother, I get to see my father, I get to have a lovely conversation with them, because in the end, no amount of basketball game, no amount of whatever sporting event is going to mean more than spending time with my family and loved ones. You get what I'm saying? So there's some people, they are the ones that, you know, keep me calm, keep me positive, promote happiness into me, and that's how I stay in the present.
What helped you build mental resilience in your mind? Obviously, you would have had some past experience, any things that would have helped you. I mean, you hear a lot of, professional athletes saying, like, for instance, Novak Djokovic, the war helped bring him mental resilience. What was something that helped build you mental resilience when you were out there playing, not only on the court, but just in overall day-to-day life?
I think not being afraid to fail is the key to growing mental maturity and mental resilience. I think a lot of athletes and a lot of kids these days, and you find it in adults as well, that they're scared to take that leap. They're scared to fail, right? And if you're scared to fail, how are we ever going to get out of that comfort zone? You know, how are we ever going to get, better mentally if we don't push the boundaries? We need to fail. We need to be in the position where, like, okay, failure. In the end, right, when we hit failure, there's only up from there. You learn from your mistakes. You adapt, right? You evolve, and then we try again. Boom, fail, adapt, evolve, fail, and eventually you keep knocking on that door. You keep banging on that door, right? You will be there, right? So it's not over until I win. You get what I'm saying? So all those failures, I believe, that I've had in my career, because early on in my junior career, I wasn't a standout player. I was on the third, seconds, fourths team, and all that gave me, I wouldn't even say motivation, but created discipline, forged disciplines in me, right? To put in the work on the court, time, fail again. Okay, we're going again, time. I didn't let all those failures defeat me, because if I did let the failures defeat me, then you failed, right? You failed when you didn't get up. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right? When you get up from those failures, that's success,
That was the biggest thing that helped you.
That was the biggest thing that helped me. All the failures that I've ever had, all the people that ever, talked negative about me, I used it as fuel, right? I used it, okay, I'm going to keep working at this. I'm going to prove to myself, I'm going to prove to the world that you're wrong,
Yeah.
I am good at this. I can do this, and I was fortunate enough where I just kept going at it and not letting those failures, should I say, ground me in, like, hey, you're done. Just kept knocking on that door, and here we are,
When you inevitably did break in and you were playing, in the team, and you were in the position that you did, obviously there comes a lot of expectation, not only from within, but with outside as well. And, for those that are, in a position where they're dealing with that expectation, how did you personally deal with that expectation, the outside noise, when you weren't, when you were performing well in ball, how did you deal with it? What were some tips that helped you deal with it? Just overall stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because this is one that I got right now going on. Obviously, performing a little better in pickleball now and stuff like that.
Let me
the
ask
expectation.
You, when you were a kid, what did you love doing?
Just playing.
Just playing,
Just
right?
playing, yeah.
So every time that I got into this, a funk, we'll call it, right? I remembered that little boy in me that loved playing, right?
Yeah.
So all that noise disappeared,
Yeah.
and I just focused on that little boy, man, in me just loved playing basketball, and I just did it for the love. I wasn't doing it for the fame or for, any type of clout or anything like that. We did it because we loved it, man.
Yeah.
And I recommend find that little boy in you again, right? And just think about those moments that you had just swinging a tennis racket against the wall, hitting the ball against the wall and having fun. For me, it's like I was shooting hoops in my driveway, right? And I had this chain net, and I loved just hearing the ball go whoosh, whoosh against this chain net, right? So I would go back to those moments where basketball meant the most to me. And it was those moments where it meant the most to me, right? So, and having those moments blocked out all that other noise, all that expectation, all that pressure. I was like, I love this game. This is that little boy in me, you know what I mean? And that's a part of what kept me calm and, able to perform well then. So
when you are under a lot of, pressure in a big game, like I keep on referring back to, big game and stuff like that, because I feel like, that's where you hear the saying, pressures, diamonds are performed under the highest pressure, right? How did you help yourself focus in all those times, when it was close game, scores tight, not too many seconds on the clock, crowds just ringing, cheering, chanting. You probably went into a lot of opposition teams where, you can't even hear your teammates communicating with each other. How did you just stay mentally zoned in?
For me, it was the time, everything, all the preparations. It's like you come to an exam. You're not going to learn the exam while doing the exam. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
You learn to complete this exam. You do all the studying, everything you need to do prior to this exam. And just like a basketball court, I'm getting those reps in, getting those hours in, getting that time in on the floor, time and again, time and again, time and again, time and again, until you're like, man, like when you felt like you've done enough, you do more. You get me? So all those repetitions and knowing that I knew myself and I was prepared and I knew my enemy, right? I wasn't phased by, there's only 30 seconds left, we're down by 2. I put the reps in, I put the work in, I know who they are, I know myself, right? So I think for me, it's about having the discipline to staying consistent at your craft, right? And the more consistent you can be at your craft and the more time you put in the craft, right, the less pressure you will feel when in those moments, because you are prepared for that moment. You get me?
Yeah, I like that. I want to shift away from basketball a little bit. I want to get to know you a little bit more. What are your hobbies off the court? Like, I know you're a big gym guy. I already know that. We already know that. The moment you walked into the door, the moment the camera turned on, I already know that. This boy lifts. All right. Apart from the gym side, which we'll still touch on a little bit because it is a big element of your life now.
Yeah.
What are some other hobbies that you like to dabble in?
Right now, it feels like I haven't had time for any hobbies just because of basketball. It's been crazy. But, stepping away from basketball, when it comes to hobbies, I've actually picked up a little bit of pickleball like yourselves. I'm going to play tomorrow at 6 p.m. Me and my girlfriend against her sister and her partner, and we're not taking any prisoners, So
you've done all the reps.
So we've done the reps, man. We're ready, So like when it comes to hobbies, I love staying fit and healthy, right? So if that's playing a little bit of basketball, I go kick the soccer ball around with the missus because she used to play a bit of soccer, tennis, pickleball now. But I've always been, big into kind of nature. I love going for these walks, and I haven't been camping in a while, but when I do, I've always loved this. Want to get back to some of that stuff, and just spending time with my family. I think the world has become such a busy place that, I really preach that, hey, don't forget, to spend quality time with your loved ones, have conversations, if that be for 5 minutes or an hour, whatever it might be, spend time with them, you know what I mean? Because in the end, they're doing life for the first time as well. And sometimes a conversation is all it takes to, keep that going, to make their day or to make somebody's day. So definitely spending time with my loved ones. As a kid, you don't hear something you like and you'll get fiery. But now it's like, understand them, soon you'll be stepping into their shoes of being a parent, of being, a provider for your family. It's like, so it's understanding the pressures and some of the things they had to go through to be able to provide for you. And that's why I love spending time with my family. One, to have them understand that I'm thankful, but also to just learn about them and just spend time with them. Yeah.
I want to go back now to the gym side. Again, big element in your life now. Look at the smile that he just got.
You love the gym aspect, though. What do you want to know? Come
Not
on.
me. You love the gym aspect, though. But hey, I love talking about it with you, because you do share a similarity. But one part I do want to go back in the gym element when you were doing college. What were your programs like when you were doing it? Did you guys, obviously you guys had a strength conditioning coach. Yeah. Was it all tailored to the individual, to the athlete, or was it kind of a general, kind of just like overall tailing it to the entire group?
Yeah. I mean, like, listen, the general program was for the team, right? Of course, each individual had maybe certain niggles, injuries that they couldn't potentially perform that variation of the exercise. So we got to go to an alternative. You get what I'm saying? But yeah, all of that was basketball specific, explosive movement stuff. When it comes to college, so in pre-season we would lift 4 times a week. In season we would lift a minimum of twice a week.
That just to take the load off before the game?
No, it's to, to have that. It's a very physical game, college basketball and basketball today in general. Wherever you're looking at, it's a physical game, and you need that strength aspect to it. When you're guarding somebody in the post, or you're cutting through the lane and you might cop an elbow, or somebody bumps you off the line, you need to be able to absorb that contact and still be able to, do your job, perform the task, or finish at the rim, whatever it might be. So it was to keep that aspect of it, you know what I mean? Because if you didn't have that strength and conditioning aspect in basketball during the season, you will get bumped off to your line. That elbow will hurt more, you know what I mean? So just maintaining your physical well-being, one, for injury prevention, and two, to be strong on the court. So,
what's your routine like now in the gym?
Yeah,
I know you're in a cut now. You're already telling me, which is weird to think that you're in a
I'm
cut.
in a cut. Yeah, I want to, show people that hey, it's you can get big and bulky, but also stay lean and fit and whatnot. So, I lift 5 to 6 times a week. I do cardio 4 or 5 times a week. I still look at myself as a professional athlete, and I'll always view myself as a professional athlete.
Because you are.
That's my mindset, I need to be able to stay fit and healthy because I'm on floor with a lot of these athletes, still showing things and describing things with professionals and with kids and whatnot. And all that takes a physical toll. So I got to stay fit and healthy and strong to be able to do all that stuff. So, yeah, lifting 5, 6 times a week, cardio 4, 5 times a week. And then in that process, we're chucking a little bit of pickleball. So
we got to run up a session, man. We got to run up.
Right,
You're pretty good on the court, all right?
I got that. I got cover the net, man. So
I know you can cover the net, but we'll see how low you can.
Oh man,
we'll see how good you can do those.
That.
Yeah, we'll see about that. What's your favorite lift to do in the gym? What's your favorite rephrase? Not lift. What's your favorite component to hit? I know my favorite thing to hit is legs. What's yours? Are you a bit of everything?
Listen, I can't say I have a favorite component. Like I love to hit it all. Like you gotta be symmetrical. For example, hitting legs is brutal for me. One, being so tall and whatnot, and then the next day you're just like, man, my legs are killing me, right? But that feeling after completing legs, you're like, man, I did it. I didn't let that, scare me away or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then I have the other aspect of, hey, I love hitting shoulders because
me too.
It's just a fun thing to hit, right?
Yeah.
But it's not
aesthetic thing.
It's not as challenging as it would be hitting legs, So shoulders is nice and fun. Legs is grueling at the time, but after you're finished with it, you kind of have this like, yes, I got through it feeling, So they're both enjoyable in a different way.
I saw you doing the hack squat the other day that you posted. You love that one, don't you?
It's my favorite leg exercise, especially for a taller person that struggles at the conventional, barbell high bar squat. A hack squat is a perfect variation for basketball players.
How much weight was on there?
That was, I don't know what the machine weighs, but if you're looking at just the plates, it would have been, I don't know, 140 or whatnot for whatever episode.
This guy's a strong boy. So, don't screw around with him.
We'll redo it, man. All right.
Yeah, and we'll go one more question here. I know I saw Team Grip. What's that all about?
Team Gripped. So that is a little boutique gym that operate out of South Yarra in Hawthorne. and it was opened by a guy named Drew. And I just came into, my partner Vanna was working at the Hawthorne branch. She works at the Hawthorne branch. And I just came in one time, just like, man, I'm going to throw some iron around, you know what I mean? And the owner saw me, and he's like, man, like, do you want to come work here? You know what I mean? I'm like, at the time, you know, with basketball and everything that was going on, it didn't align. But now our schedules are aligning where I have the basketball components sorted, and I can also do some time at Grip. So now I'm with him at the South Yarra branch, working at this gym, you know, training people, building these relationships, and doing what I love. Because I do love the strength and conditioning aspect of it, and I also love basketball. So yeah, I am, you know, PTing guys, helping guys with, you know, building their mental, not just physical, but mental as well, and getting them through what they want to achieve, helping them through that.
I've got to get myself on the program HQ. If you want to check out,
get on the program.
If you want to check out the program.hq on Instagram, also Team Grip on Instagram as well. You can check it out. Boško, Kostur. It was a pleasure, man.
Thank you so much.
Not a problem.
All right.
We'll catch you on the next one on Australia TV and on Boomerang Serbian Radio. This was the Boomerang Podcast.